Hi guys, it's Joseph again, and I'm doing a video on Ukraine. Um, I just want to get into how Ukraine is doing. Um, I'm gonna look at some events that has happened since the war started. Um, so let's look. So it says supposedly this is day 97 of the Russian-Ukraine war. Um, so it looks like they made this neat article about who is what's happening so far. Let's see. So it says at least 16,000 residents have been buried by Russian occupiers and mass graves near the villages of Stary Krim, Mount Hush, and Vinohard. Since mid-April, the Ukrainian mayor of Mariupol said. So, rest in peace to all those people. Um, um, yeah. So it says Russian troops have been pushed further into the key city of Severodonetsk. I don't know how to say that. In the Luhansk region and fought street by street with Kiev's forces, driving tens of thousands from their homes. It says Russian forces control a third of Severodonetsk, a Russian separatist leader said. Russian forces repeatedly control the northeast and southeast outskirts of the city of Severodonetsk and are continuing to gain ground within the city, the Institute for the Study of Wars, ISW, said. French journalist Frederick Leclerc Imhoff was killed during a Russian bombardment that struck a vehicle evacuating civilians from eastern Ukraine, bringing the total of immediate workers killed so far in Russia's invasion to 32, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has said. That's pretty bad. Rest in peace to those people. But yeah, so the war has been going on for a little bit. And of course, I stand with Ukraine. I do not believe that Russia should be invading Ukraine. So, but I wish them the best, and I hope that either Russia stops invading them or Ukraine is able to fight them off and regain their territory and solidarity back. You know, I do know they said there was like rumors they were saying like how the reason that they invaded was had to, like there's some part of it had to do with there being like Nazis in Ukraine, and that like um, Vladimir Putin was like trying to kill the Nazis that were like still in Ukraine after World War II or something. So that was interesting. But yeah, he definitely said that. I remember him saying that. I don't want to read every line of this. I just kind of want to look at like what's like mostly like what is like some good details that we absolutely should know. Um, it says Belarus will conduct military mobilization exercises in June and July in the Gomel region, which borders Ukraine to the south of Russia's east. State news NCB Belta reported. Um, this is Zelensky visits front lines in Ukraine's battle. So that's interesting. So looks like in diplomacy, it says the EU, the European Union, have agreed to ban 90% of Russian oil imports by the end of the year. So that's interesting. So that says that will cut off a huge source of financing for its war machine. So I'm guessing like they make a lot of money off of oil, and like right now that they can't. Um, That was by the Charles Michel, President of the European Union, or Charles Michel, President of the European Union. Um, it says EU members backed a package of loans worth 9 billion, with a small component of grants to cover part of the interest for Ukraine to keep its government going and pay wages for about 2 months. Yeah, I did hear something about that. Like, I heard that Ukraine and some other countries, it might have been just Ukraine, was trying to be a part of like NATO or a group. Um, I think it was the NATO, and because they weren't in the NATO, and I think to get like more help, they needed to like join NATO, so that the countries would give them more help, more aid, more assistance for the war. It says basketball star Brianna Stewart called on Washington to bring home her fellow women's NBA player Brittany Griner, who has been detained in Russia since February. Yeah, so I heard about that. There's a basketball player that's there, and then since the war, once the war began, I don't think she was able to come home. Like she's like been detained by Russia. I just hope that they're just treating her, treating people right. And yeah, it says Lithuanians crowdfunded 5.4 million to buy an advanced military drone and show solidarity for Ukraine in its war against Russia. So that's nice. Um, yeah. Okay, and so let's see how their economy. It says Zelensky said Russia is deliberately blocking Ukrainian ports, preventing the export of 22 million tons of grain, so that the whole of Europe struggles, and so that Ukraine doesn't earn billions of dollars from its exports. Huh. So that's interesting. I'm not sure why they would do that. It says Russian forces have stolen at least 500,000 tons of grain from Ukraine. Oh, I see. So it looks like Russia is stealing some grain from Ukraine. So that's no good. Um, yeah, I heard that on the news that um, Ukraine has like makes like a very like large percent of the grain in the U.S. So like or like in the world. So like they have like fifth. I don't remember the exact numbers, but it was like they make like a lot like lots of grain, and like they sell this grain, they export this grain to the rest of the world, not just America but to the rest of the world, and like they do like a large percentage of it. So like you wouldn't like, yeah, so you wouldn't expect them to have like that much grain, but they have like a lots of grain. Like that's an income source for Ukraine. And yeah, so that's about it. um yeah. There was a video up here. There's Ukraine war. Zelensky visits Kharkiv, um, and I think we had another one about NATO's unity, the war in Ukraine. Um, let's see. It says so. Just some more. It says, "What has Russia achieved since its invasion of Ukraine?" Let's see what this article is about. Oh, looks like it was like a podcast. I'm not. We're not gonna listen to a podcast. But yeah. But yeah, well, thanks for listening and watching my video about Ukraine.